Thank you for joining the 45th TSGE Annual Conference. My name is Jeffrey Lee, and I'm the president of the society. At this time, I would like to call the 2020 Annual Membership Business Meeting to order. First on the agenda, I want to thank our Executive Director, Ms. Kai Camero, for her unceasing efforts and hard work for TSGE. And also our 2020 course directors, Drs. Harry Thomas and John Tsai. Little did they know 2020 would take the conference to this direction. But they were up for the challenge and did a great job in moving the conference to its virtual format. This conference will certainly go down in TSGE history. As a reminder, please mark your calendar for our 2021 conference taking place at the Westin Galleria in Dallas, Texas on September 24th to 26th. We're hoping that the meeting will be in person as before. Moving on to the Treasurer's report, on behalf of TSGE Treasurer Dr. Stephen Utz, I would like to inform the board that COVID has had an adverse impact on GI practices and TSGE finance as well. Fortunately, we had a reserve fund for crises like this. Earlier this year, we have transferred the $200,000 to the Chase operating account from Vanguard to maintain the $150,000 minimum. The Chase account was running low due to decreased revenues from dues, meeting registration, and exhibitors. This year, we have a $6,000 deficit compared with the last year. For this year's conference, we have 104 registered with 17 exhibitors. In 2019, we had 280 registered and 5 exhibitors. We still have $981,000 in Vanguard, and TSGE is holding strong during this unprecedented time. Next is a secretary's report. On behalf of TSGE Secretary, Dr. Ira Flax, I'll provide the information. TSGE has 596 members as of September 11th and has 10 pending members. A list of those pending members can be found on the business meeting agenda located at the homepage of the meeting platform. Please use the polling feature found on the virtual meeting platform to answer the question. Do you approve the pending members as they have been presented? You will answer either yes or no. The final item of business is to approve 2020 slate of officers and nominated councilors as presented. A list of those nominated can be found on the homepage of the meeting platform. Please use the polling feature found on the virtual meeting platform to answer the question. Do you approve the slate of officers and nominated councilors as they have been presented? You will answer either yes or no. At this time, I would like to introduce our Legislative Chair, Dr. Pradeep Kumar, for this year's Legislative Report. Dr. Kumar.
Hello, welcome to the TSGE Annual Meeting 2020. It's quite a different way we're experiencing it this year, and we appreciate everybody's attendance and patience with our meeting. My name is Pradeep Kumar, and I'm a partner and shareholder with Austin Gastroenterology, and I am the current legislative chair. Just assumed this position this year, and I'm grateful to have the assistance of Marshall Kenderdine. He is our lobbyist, and he's served us very well, and I'm pleased to say that we're going to have an ongoing relationship with him, which will be very critical with the upcoming session in January. As the session will be in January, this has been an off-session year, and there have been a few events that have been taking place. What happens is usually have select committees that meet in the off-session year to decide how to enact the bills that were passed during last session, and also to create dialogue and discussion for bills that are upcoming next session. But because of the pandemic, they have not met this year and rather sent out requests for information, RFIs, to the interested parties. And of course, along with insurance companies and pharmaceutical and medical device companies, physicians are also invited to relay our thoughts. The Texas Medical Association has certainly taken the lead on this issue. And I'm delighted to say that we've signed on to the letters that they've submitted. They've submitted 2 letters recently that we were privy to and are signees to. One relates to how medicine is practiced during the pandemic, and we have encouraged the legislature to monitor and regulate price gouging, which can happen particularly for COVID tests. It's been in the news lately. Also, to expand care to the underserved. And also the surprise medical bills that was enacted last session in order to enact them in a fair manner so that patients and physicians across Texas can be dealt with fairly. The second letter had to do with the bills that were passed last session, particularly the surprise medical bill and how it might be enforced in a fair manner. And the Texas Medical Association has staked out some positions regarding that we're all in favor of, as it will affect our patients and the way we practice as well down the line. And so these are the kind of actions that are going on off session. Certainly it's an election year, and so we're very well aware of that. And we have identified some races that are critical to medicine and critical to gastroenterology. There's a House District 134 at the Med Center in Houston. It's a competitive race, and House District 115 in Fort Worth. That's a competitive race. And the new philosophy of the legislative committee is to have committee members that have personal relationships with their legislatures. So I certainly invite you, those of you that have that are in those districts, that know those people that are running, that have a relationship there, to please reach out to me through Kai Camaro, and we'll be in touch with you and see how we can help each other, help the gastroenterologists and patients of Texas achieve better gastroenterological care. And so because it's an off session, there's not much more to discuss during this session, but I want to just take a moment to illustrate why this committee and what we do is important. That more occurs at the state capitol that affects the way we practice medicine than most physicians and most gastroenterologists and most patients are aware of. Take, for example, screening colonoscopy. While it was passed by Medicare in the year 2000, it wasn't until 2002 when my colleague and one of the founding partners of my group, Dr. Shad Nabagi, went to the legislature and testified and clarified the importance of why it's important that we screen patients in Texas. And largely based on his efforts, colon cancer screening was passed in Texas, and insurance companies were mandated to make that a part of their coverage practice. And so that's just a small example. There's so many little bills that come up every session that really affects the day-to-day practice that we do and the care that we're able to offer our patients. And so this is one of the services that the TSGE acknowledges, identifies, and we believe it's a big part of our duty to our membership. And I'm delighted to be a part of that. And again, I want to thank Marshall Kenderdine and also thank my colleague, Dr. Bruce Levy, who has just stepped down as legislative chair. He has big shoes to fill, and I'm going to do my best to fill them. And I want you guys to enjoy the rest of the meeting, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve in this role.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Thank you all for joining TSGE's first virtual conference. We appreciate you who are in attendance and supporting TSGE. On behalf of the Society and its members, this concludes the 2020 membership business meeting. Thank you.